Hey guys, we have a very special guest today. I'll be looking forward to this one for quite some time. Perry Power is on a mission to change the estate agency for both the homeowners and agents across the UK. Perry, if you want to introduce yourself to the guys, and very welcome, a warm Irish welcome from a bedroom by the looks.
Yeah, welcome to my bedroom, everybody. For the record, that teddy bear is on my wife's side of the bed, not on my side of the bed. Get that out there now. So my name's Perry Power. I own Power Bespoke Estate Agents. We're based in Reigate in the southeast, very near to Gatwick Airport. We're based on a farm. It's the joke of the industry that it's a converted cowshed. We've been growing very nicely and steadily, nothing too crazy, but we've been going what year are we in? 2020. We're in our 6th year, and we're on track this year quite comfortably until everything hit to get our office, that cowshed, to £1 million in revenue, and all that's mainly been done by just a really small team of really good estate agents.
Brilliant. So we kind of connected there, a week ago, and we were discussing what we were going to talk about today. And I must say, I've seen you over the last 4 to 5 years really grow, and the content that you're putting out there is fantastic. And you've built something that you believe in, and it's clear, and it's very, very transparent to see that you are trying to do something that you're passionate about, that you love. And let's just go into some of the finer detail of, what would your top tips be for an agent right now in the current market?
So one of them would be, so I guess let's touch a little bit on my opinion on, getting up and going to work every day. Change it until you really believe in it, right? So that's really important. So it's been easy for me because from the age of 12, I always knew that I was going to improve estate agency. Some kids followed football, and I just followed like John McGrath in Australia, a big Australian estate agency, because my mum had a really, really poor experience with estate agent, which almost led her to a breakdown. She was not, she didn't have the best mental health at the time anyway, but it was just made worse by a really terrible estate agent pissing her right about. So I just thought, surely it can't be that hard to help someone move house or buy a house or sell a house. I'm going to start up an estate agency when I'm a big boy. And it went from there. So I've always been I built it how I thought it should operate, as opposed to a lot of companies now having to pivot or change their business model to accommodate the current environment or how it should be. And you can ask 10 people how an estate agency should be run, and you'll get 10 different answers: how it should work internally, externally, marketing, what the mission is, what the core proposition is, all that kind of stuff. But what was the question?
No, I mean, what we were kind of touching on was your why is very evident and you just spoke about something that's very emotionally, connected with you, and that's why you've gone into estate agency, and it'd probably be the root of where you'll be for the next 5-10 years. But the question was, what top tips for agents all across the globe would you put down to using and have got to have allowed you to get to where you are?
Yeah, so that ties in really well with the whole marketing discussion, right? And so when you sent me the list of what we're discussing about, what we'll be chatting about was 10 top tips for marketing for estate agents. My number one on this list on my thing is better client experiences. So marketing, first define marketing. What is it? Is it getting leads? Is it getting clients? Is it getting your brand seen? Is it like, what is marketing? Marketing is like old school now. It's all about, reword that to just content. What's your marketing strategy? That's now been reborn, I think, as what's your content strategy. But ultimately, the fundamental of marketing is all about internal. The cheapest way to grow business is give clients a blow your socks off level of service, period. And if deep down you don't even know that you're doing that well enough, you shouldn't be spending a penny on any kind of marketing. You should be really looking at your client journey. Where can you improve it? So we NPS score from the minute someone inquires to us to the minute they get handed the keys to their house. We've got NPS scores throughout the whole journey, so we know exactly where we need to improve during that whole journey.
Brilliant. And you obviously have built a lot of relationships, and it kind of touches on another subject that we could go into a lot more detail, but we'll park it for the time being. But you've built relationships, and I believe, in my opinion, that marketing is building, really, really solid relationships with people and not trying to sell them, because that was ingrained in a lot of agencies, transactional agents. And I can tell by even talking to you today and your marketing, you care and you've built relationships, and that's probably in your marketing, and it comes without even saying this. So, what would your process be for marketing right now with the guys?
So it's really interesting, and something, no doubt there's a fit round in all kinds of places, but I think in market, you need to understand that the trouble with estate agents is, if you've got a house to sell, they want it, right? And so we've got one of our best pieces of content that we put out there and it's downloaded is two things. One's our 11-step plan to sell your house for a premium price, right? It's the exact plan that we follow for every single house. The only difference in the plan is the house in it. That's it. And there'll be some little, if you've got an equestrian house, we might stick it in the Horse and Hound magazine, but on the whole, the plan is a plan and it never changes. But it's understanding so we've also got a kind of which clients wouldn't work well with us. We're quite open to the fact that we don't try and serve every Tom, Dick and Harry trying to sell their house. If they've got loads of time, we're like, Power Bespoke is worded like it specifically because we're a bespoke premium agency, I guess. And we make quite obvious that if you've got loads of time, if you're happy to show people around your house and you've got really good experience in negotiation, because you do that in your daily life with your job, you probably ain't going to get value out of us. So you might as well go with a cheaper option. If you're really busy and you're uptown working, or you've got a couple of kids and the last thing you want to do at 6:30 at night is show someone around your house, because, your current agent isn't accompanying all your viewings. And we've got some real rules, to our clients, like they have to be out the house for first viewings. If they want to be in the house, then we're not going to work for them. So not stuck uply, I don't mean it like all puffy, big headed. It's just, it's not good for the viewing if the owner's in the house. Yeah. So rather than letting them stay, make sure they go out. And if they don't want to take that advice, then they need to go and find an estate agent that they want to listen to. I always find with estate agency, if there's friction between the advice you're giving them and the advice they're taking and they're not taking it, is that they need to find an estate agent they trust more. They don't trust your advice, hence why they're not taking it. So what's the point in having a client that don't trust you? Advise them to go and find one that they trust more. That's gone well off piece, isn't it? But
no, not at all. Not at all. It's how you and your agents are working, and it works for you. And the agent, the vendor, if they're not willing to, see that your process works, then you're right. Why work with them?
Exactly right. So a house sale is a process, whatever way you look at it. And I'm very, my talent dynamics assessments and all stuff like that. When I'd done it, I really wanted to be a Steve Jobs. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely a Steve Jobs kind of profile. And it turned out I'm more of like a Henry Ford profile, because I'm more of a mechanic kind of person. And I like taking things apart, putting them back together in better ways. Estate agencies was one of those things that was ripe for opportunity. And I love property, and I thought I would be a surveyor when I was 10 years old, but didn't realise I had to go to university, and that sounds like effort. I'd rather get straight into work. But it's about not thinking that everyone should be your client. And yeah, I love the fact that we're quite happy to step aside at times and say, look, you're probably best off trying that 1% option. And my phone's always on. Just don't sign a 25 or 26 week contract, because you'll regret it. If they're making sure you sign a contract, then there's a problem with that in the first place. It should get the alarm bells ringing. So don't sign it. Hope it goes well. My phone's always on. And 48% of our business comes from other estate agents where they haven't been successful in selling the house. So, and that's just through happily losing it to, when I say happily losing it, we don't want to lose clients, but if they're not fit into how we want to do things to get them the best outcome, and that's what it's all about. It's about their best outcome. Then we'll sometimes they need to go and learn the hard way, as harsh as that sounds, and then we'll pick up the pieces.
Yeah, it's okay to say no, and I've had it myself, being an agent. Saying no to working with a client. Just going on towards the next topic and going on to channels and marketing. What key channels should agencies be using to reach vendors and buyers?
Yeah, so up that list is, until you're getting a decent, I would say, if half of your appraisals aren't coming from recommendation, then you've still got to do some fixing in your business, right? And that might be because you've got no process to leverage the recommendation. So fundamental number one, client experience, client journey, NPS score it, know where it's going wrong, improve it. And just by doing that, you're going to get more recommendation, which means more business. After that, you can put things in process like SMS marketing is really cool, like automated SMS marketing that 2 weeks after you've had a deal close with a client, a little automated text saying, "Hey Ken, it's Perry, hope you're well. Just wondering if you know anyone that would need my services right now." The response from that SMS is automated, is absolutely immense. And then I would look at, so reframe it in your mind. It's not marketing, it's content strategy. Also have content strategy. And a piece of that content is a text message going out to someone who's bought or sold with us, asking who they know who needs our services, right? That's a piece of content. That's not a marketing message. Then you've got your internal versus external. So before you spend a penny, are there any things internally that you can do which cost nothing, like a referral program, for example? So we've got what we call the Power Partners. So everyone that buys or sells of us gets added to our private Facebook group, which is the Power Partners. So now they've done business with us as a buyer or a seller. They can now be our advocates, I guess, and they get 5% of our fee that we earn, and their friend gets 5% off of our fee. So our standard fee is 2%, and it comes out in the wash at 1.9%, thanks to Jenny, who recommended us in. So that's a good way. It's like a Dropbox kind of double-ended, both people benefit. So Jenny, make sure you mention me when you call, and you'll get a 5% discount off their standard fee. Nurturing, so important. The kind of tech out there these days is unreal. And in that, you need to be looking at kind of SMS nurturing with, email nurturing with SMS at certain. So you take my 11-step plan selling guide, right? Someone downloads it. They then go into a 17 email, 35-week nurture. Most of it's email, but then probably every 7 emails, they get an SMS as well. And it just, because you don't want to replace email with SMS because you'll become an absolute pain in the arse. And it's just, email's fine for higher frequency. SMS is more, where do you want them to take action? That's where the SMS should come in.
So it's nearly like a cadence and a workflow. You've created, let's say, a cadence into a workflow, and you've got it automated.
Yeah, and that drops in. So we've got our Rightmove, Zoopla, similar things in Ireland, I'm sure. Portals. Lead comes in, drops into our CRM. Depending on, not everyone puts their buying position in their lead, but when they do, because I've got a house not on the market, not yet sold or whatever, property to sell not on the market, that triggers a certain nurture automatically behind the scenes, and they're then in there. They can unsubscribe. I'm very hot in getting like double. I kind of call it triple opt-in. It's all right having double opt-in, but when you say to someone, "Look, hey John, it's Perry here at Power Bespoke. I noticed you inquired yesterday about 123 Street. I noticed also you've got a house to sell yourself. I'd love to send you my top video tips over the next few weeks. Just click here to receive them." The ones that are clicking that already are like way up there in level of engagement. But the really clever thing that happens when you get really deep in nurture is lead scoring, right? So one of my best emails that goes out from my ESP, email service provider, is it goes like this: "Hey John, it's Perry. I noticed you've been opening and clicking a few of my emails. Anything I can help you with? Question mark. That one thing alone, that one email smashes all my nurture emails out the park, because I'm just tracking when they open, they get 5 points added to their lead score. When they click a link, they're getting 10 points added. When they get to 40 points, that triggers the, hey, John, how can I help? And it's really good.
Brilliant. So it's mad, isn't it? It's the really simple communication bits that agents forget. And you know, picking up the phone and even just script practicing. Like I can tell, I've actually read some of your scripts prior to 2-3 years ago. And you know what? You can have all the tools and all the automations, but in actual fact, you've just touched on it there. It's the smallest, little simplest. Hey, how's it going? Especially during these times. Right now, I think more agents need to be reaching out to let's say 20 clients a day. You know, how's it going? How are you? I've put in place, you know, 5 texts, five messages, and I'll actually just call 5 people in my circle as well. And Sam Hunter, actually, he talks about 25 people. But it's so important that agents don't get, I would say, sidetracked into, you know, going down the rabbit hole of creating these big, long automations and neglecting your old school prospecting.
Yeah, well, and that's really interesting, right? Because I'm a massive hardcore bang the phone kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like when I'm at a very fortunate age in estate agency, because I started when it was applicant cards, and probably a year, 6 months into it, Rightmove launched, and I kind of saw the old ways, but I'm more adapted to the new ways. And I built a piece of software as a service called the Power Prospector. Really good piece of kit for people that want to jump on the phones. And there is this, you know, phone fear is, you know, I sound like my granddad, because I'm sitting here like, oh, when I was fucking starting in a estate agency, I was banging 100 calls a day. You don't know how good you've got it. But there is a time and a place for a call. But I think this is the problem, right? Is that I'm really busy. So I don't want to ring 80 people to, you know, I now don't want to ring 100 people and get 80, you know, oh, ring me back another time. Like, there's no point in that. I'd rather ring 20 people that I know have just opened an email of mine, or they've just clicked an email, or, you know, they've just replied to my how can I help email, and I'll bang the phone straight away and pick up the call to them. So it's about getting a bit more clever and having things in place. You know, who should you call? You know, my argument is the nurturing and the automation should take care of new prospects. You should only be calling everyone that you've sold a house to or for in the last couple of years, regularly. And if you imagine, if you ring every buyer or seller that you've ever sold a house to every quarter, that's going to keep you busy. That's probably 5-10 calls a day that you can just for that one segment of people. Who to call, when to call, that's really important. And I think, you know, I've got a whole, with the Power Prospector, there's a whole training session on making decent prospecting calls, but relevance is obviously the most important thing. I see so many estate agents ring up saying, oh, it's Perry at Power Bespoke, just checking in, see how you are. And they're like, yeah, I'm fine, mate. How are you? And it's really awkward. Whereas if you're like, hey, it's Perry at Power Bespoke, I know it's tough at the minute, I've just agreed to sell on a house around the corner from you, just thought I'd let you know, then it's more relevant. But anyway, that's a whole different sesh. But so after lead scoring, my next little thing was picking one and going deep. And I don't know if you want me to talk about that yet. But
let's go into it.
So there's so many things that you could be doing for content or for marketing. There really is, right? And you can send yourself into a little spiral of depression that you're not doing most of them. You're like, oh, bloody hell, he's doing great on LinkedIn and he's doing awesome on Facebook. And oh my God, that guy's got a podcast. And it's like, I ain't doing none of that. And that's completely fine, because you're better off, in my view, having one thing, whether it's platform, and just going deep in doing it better than anyone else. So some people hate video, and there's this real issue right now for people that are introvert personality, in that they're putting themselves into a real state of depression because they should be doing video because everyone's doing video, and everyone should do video, but they can't do video because they're just an introvert. So that's cool. Just do a blog. the world's best blog, type it out, or do a voice recording podcast and get that made into a blog. So you never your face never on camera. There's just pick one thing and go deep. The great thing with video is that you get 3 pieces of content. So my next point there was repurposing. You do a video and you can extract the audio for a podcast or put it on SoundCloud or something, and you can extract you can get it transcribed to rev.com for peanuts really into a blog post. So all of a sudden that one thing you've done to leverage your time on video becomes 3 pieces of content, which can then be an email to your email list, or it could be an email to that segment of your email list. And so that's important as well. Don't get caught up in all the what everyone else is doing. What do you like doing? And some people don't like doing anything apart from banging their phones. Well, keep banging the phones, but do it better than anyone else.
Don't neglect it. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, which kind of brings you on to the next question. What tools are you guys using? Obviously, you've mentioned a couple that you've built yourself, but what data or tools should agencies consider when planning marketing activity?
So I made a rule at Power Bespoke is all we're going to ever do is digital marketing, right? So we don't do leaflets, we don't really do letters. We've done a little spurt of doing some letters, but the amount of time it takes to do them properly, you might as well just do digital marketing. So tools wise, there's a thing called Recur Post, a really cool piece of kit where let's say you do a blog post on your website and you manually post it out there on Facebook, and then it never gets read again because that post is gone, and it's gone, and then the blog post is like 17th on your blog post list on your website. The Recur Post, you put it into your website blog post category, and you say on Wednesday at 7:00, I want a blog post to be pushed out on social media. But like Hootsuite, but you ain't got to keep doing it every month.
Yeah.
Literally just set and forget. And then it keeps pulling in fresh blogs automatically from your website and puts them into that kind of bucket. And then that bucket publishes them wherever you say that you want to. And it's really cheap, really good value. So our platform was always Facebook, which we chose to go deep on, and we've wasted so much money over the years you wouldn't even believe. Like, I think when I last looked, I think I probably spent 40 grand to date given to Mark Zuckerberg, and it's only actually the last 6 months that we started to really hone the kind of Facebook ad funnel campaign to get some really good ROI. Because I was flicking, and I think people like playing with Facebook, and I really do like playing with it. But then I realised that I'm actually burning money because of it. So I brought on a really good ads kind of consultant, a kind of Facebook ads expert, and he's running it all for me now, and it's getting some good responses. But there's so many. I kind of don't do Twitter. I'm not a very conversational, social person outside of work, to be honest. I'm more of a stick a film on and watch telly. I don't go to the pub. I don't drink. I don't socialise. So it's that kind of Twitter's for a social person, which ain't me. Facebook, I really like it because it's the place that people go with no real intention. They're kind of asking to be distracted because they're not going there to do anything particular. So as long as your targeting is really good, you can really start to get in front of people that have got an interest in what you do. And yeah, so automation and kind of funnels is the new buzzword, but they can be quite simple. Facebook ad lead form gets submitted, drops into your CRM, and then that triggers the nurtures you got in place already because you've got your internal nurtures set up for people with houses to sell that inquire with you and stuff like that.
Brilliant. So I just want to go into a bit more depth on the automation for agents, let's say, who wouldn't have a great knowledge in it. How would you start? Where would you start? What would you do?
That's a really good question, that, because I've got a massive issue with digital marketing agencies pulling the pants down of estate agents, because you don't know what's good or bad, really. You just think, oh my God, that sounds great. But you look at their targeting in their ad sets, and you just think, why is he targeting similar interests? You don't want to do that. Get him to turn that off. It's just burning your budget. So really get to understand it. Give me a shout if you want, by all means. But because there's a lot of courses out there you spend money on, but with online courses, what I've learned with Building Mind that agents join is that people tend to sign up to something and then never log in again. It blows my mind the amount of people that spend £1,000 on a course, log in once and then never log in again. So it's just get an understanding, speak to people that are doing it. Throw me a message on Facebook or LinkedIn or something. And then once you've got a kind of understanding of it enough, then pass it to someone else, because your time is better spent, improving your team and your business rather than fiddling with your Facebook ads behind the scenes, which is what I learned very hard when I went 3 months into kind of Facebook mode.
Brilliant. So if we went into a couple more tips, do you have any more tips that you want to share? I know I said we shared 10. We've probably shared around 15 at this stage. Do you have any other tips that you want to throw in?
Yeah. So the next one, so your automation and your funnel. Funnel's a weird word because it's like, but it is true, I guess. They come in the top and they filter down and you get a certain amount of appraisals. But I think you need to understand so there's 2 points here. So point 9 on my little list is direct response versus brand awareness. And I hear so many agents do leaflet campaigns and they get no response. Like, but that's the brand awareness. Like, what you're telling me that you spent £5,000 knowingly it was going to be brand awareness. You weren't expecting no call from them. They're like, no. It's like, well, you're stupid. I'm sorry, but you're stupid. There's 2 categories in marketing: direct response, brand awareness. And if you did do that as a brand awareness exercise, then I completely hats off to you. If you want to burn 5,000 quid on brand awareness, that's a big problem. But direct response, you need to have a very clear expectation before you spend a penny. So when we spend 10 grand, let's say, on something, we know we need 60 advice meetings, period. So if by 2 months down the line and we've got a 5-6 month campaign, we've not got 2/3 of the advice meetings that we know we need to achieve, then we'll turn it off. And that's all calculated on the fact that we know that we'll convert half of what we go and see, or video appraisals, we will convert half, and average fee, we know what that is. So we know how much we're going to convert from instruction to money in the bank. So you can really understand your ROI and go into it with a clear return on investment. I always look for 10 times ROI, so 10 times return. So if I spend 10 grand, we're going to need to have 100 grand come in 6 to 8 months down the line. But if we get to 80 grand on 10 grand, that's not a bad return either. But I always set it at, I had a meeting today because I'm looking at maybe doing some radio advertising, because I think that people are at home a lot at the minute. Everyone's doing digital, and radio I think might be, my missus, every time I go downstairs to get a cup of tea, she's got Eagle Radio on, and I didn't realise, but she said to me, we need something, and I'm like, I heard an advert the other day on Eagle Radio about that, and I don't even listen to it, it's just there in the background. But I had a chat with the woman and explain this is what we're trying to achieve, and that could be a good, but I know if I'm going to spend 15,000 quid on something over 12 months, I know by 6 months I'm going to need to pre-agree a break clause in it, and if it's not producing that many appraisals that we need, then we turn it off. So very clear expectations of the campaign. Brand awareness to me is your for sale boards and stuff like that. Yes, you don't expect any calls off them to sell a house, but if you get one, it's great, but you still pay for them because they're out there with brand awareness. If you're doing your local school sponsorships, arguably you're doing that for local community and brand awareness. So you don't expect any appraisals off the back of it, but if you get some, then it's double good. So that's very clear in my mind as to where the money's going and what purpose it needs to serve. And that's it. That was the 10th one. Clear ROI.
Brilliant. Well, listen, I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you ever so much for joining us. I'm sure we'll jump on for another quick chat before the end.
Anyone got any questions? Fire them across. We can jump on. If anyone wants to go deeper on anything, then maybe you and me can jump on something, Ken, and do another one on more deeper.
Brilliant. Stuff. Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's get something in the diary. Guys, I'm going to put Perry's details in the description below. If you could all give him a follow or a like on Facebook. Thanks again for tuning in this week. We've got one episode each week. Perry, thanks a million. Really appreciate it. And best of luck.
Take care.